Associates. ABMAC is a full-service law firm that specializes in project financing, oil and gas, tax law, mining, and other areas such as corporate law, as well as employment and immigration law. At ABMAC, we believe that the future of the law is technology, and we have harnessed technology solutions in order to ensure that we are more efficient. We are proud
One, two. Mic check, 1, 2. Should I start? Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Am I clear? Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, our online audience. Thank you so much for showing up today. Welcome back from yesterday. Today is day 2 of our Digital Transformation Festival, the Real Tech Festival 2025, brought to you by the Radical New Bar. Welcome back, everyone. I'm so happy to see you. Those who have made it, those who are online, we are so happy to have you. Before we go any further, I would like us to begin the day with a word of prayer from Mr. Jirua Benon Robert. Please come and say a word of prayer.
Good morning. Let's humble ourselves for prayer. Heavenly Father, in the name of Jesus, we'd like to thank you for today. We'd like to thank you for the grace that you've given unto us. We thank you for this day that you've given unto us. We want to bless your name for the gift of life. We want to commit this day, like yesterday, into your hands. We thank you for the successes of yesterday, and we want to commit all the deliberations today, King of Glory. May you, in the name of Jesus, give journey mercies to those that are still en route, and may you bless whatever we're going to eat and drink so as to glorify your name and expand your kingdom. We pray this believing and trusting in Christ Jesus our Lord.
Amen. Thank you very much. Let us all stand up, please, for the national anthems.
Begin your savings journey. NSSF.
Mungu twaomba uilinde Jumuiya Afrika Mashariki, tuwe tuwezeshe kuishi kwa amani, tutimize na malengo yetu. Jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuajibike, tuimarike. Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu.
Thank you very much. You may take your seats. Today, expect the unexpected. The Radical New Bar is here to give you loads of goodies and lots of prizes, ranging from electronic appliances, phones, vacations, and the biggest, and what I believe most of us here want to win, including me, is Bang the Benz, right? So without any further ado, I would like to thank our sponsors, people who have made sure that this comes together, those that are accepted to stand with us, those that we went to and they believed in the dream of bringing that Tech Fest together. I want to pass a vote of gratitude to MTN Uganda and MTN Momo, Stanbic Bank, Nation Media Group, URSB, NSSF, ABMAC Advocates, Vision Group, Milima Security, Diamond Advocates, Bluebell Legal Advocates, Uganda Gaming and Lotteries Board, UNICAF, S&L. Thank you so much for agreeing to bring this all together. We are eternally grateful. As communicated yesterday, there's a number of co-hosts that were introduced to you, but today I want to take the singular honor of introducing to you a distinguished lady who has over 14 years of experience in providing legal advisory services to several organizations, including local and multinational companies. She advises businesses on compliance with laws in Uganda, including data protection and privacy law, contracts, employment law, immigration law, national content laws, among others. She also advises on commercial transactions, including business establishments, due diligence, mergers and acquisitions, joint ventures, and business restructuring. Ladies and gentlemen, Hilda Kamgisha, my co-host. Put your hands together.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'll join my co-hosts in thanking you so much for making time to be part of this historic event. Of course, without you, it would not be what it is. I'm also grateful for the different people that have put in the effort towards making this dream come true. As the Radical New Bar, we've amplified the vision, but it's good to see that the vision is being put into action, particularly regarding digitization and the leap into the digital future of justice. It's a very important topic for all of us, and I'm glad that I get to participate in this transformation journey that we have started. And as noted yesterday, it's only the beginning of so much more that needs to be done to make it a reality for all of us as practitioners, but also the clients that we serve. And so I invite us all to embrace the messages that have been shared here and that will be shared in the course of today. You must agree that yesterday was profoundly fruitful as a start to this conversation, and I give thanks to all the speakers and all the panelists that presented the several ideas and solutions that have been developed. I also take the privilege of thanking the different exhibitors who I hope that you've had a moment to interact with in the exhibition tent right across from us. Particularly mentioning, we have the NIRA team that's in the tent, Vision Group, Lobot, we have Safe Border and Safe Car with us, LDC in the education space, ULI for information and development in that space, and then there's the Judiciary ECMIS as well, exhibiting. The Personal Data and Protection Office is also down there. URSB, our very own, are also with us in the exhibition tent. Magezi Harvest Limited, MTN Momo, NSSF, Diamond Advocates, Legal AI Africa, CIPESA, who have taken great strides in digital resilience and support in that space, are also with us as exhibitors. Utamu, from whom we'll hear this morning, are also with us in the exhibition tent. Then AI Lex, Milima Security, Legal IT, and then of course, last but not least, Uganda Law Society, who have taken this agenda very seriously. At this point, I'll take the honor of calling upon Professor Paul Muchibi to take us through the recap of yesterday's discussions and the highlights of what were discussed. Professor, you're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Hilda. Good morning, colleagues. Paul Muchibi is my name. Today I'm here in two capacities. One as a member ULS. Two, I'm also representing the director LDC on this event. I have an instrument directing me to represent the director today. That is Dr. Pamela Tibihikira Karejira. I thank all of you for having turned up yet on day 2, and thank you for being too early, as other colleagues have not yet reached here. My task is simple, to take you through the recap of day 1. As you are aware, we had yesterday quite a number of events, and we were successful for having accomplished all of them. In the beginning, we had our opening and welcoming remarks from the CEO and also organizing committee taking part of it, and was basically to open for us what the event is all about. A tech fest, something branded differently from the usual, and you saw the events happening yesterday. It was not an exchange of pamphlets, booklets, notebooks, no. It was everything digital, and we really enjoyed the space. Right from registration, people were not using their pens and ordinary books. Everything was digital. So that was good to set us into the Tech Fest. After that, we had our perpendicular Vice President, ULS, who also took us through what the event is all about, and emphasizing that this is one of the major manifesto brand by the Radical New Bar, which is digital transformation. And the Radical New Bar is implementing whatever it promised us way back, and we are glad to receive that. Then the Vice President called the President, ULS, and the President also gave us his remarks, which were very, very insightful, and he emphasized the disruption. We are no longer in the old system, we are now in a disruption, and technology is one of the disrupting events, and is changing how business should be done and how we should perfect our businesses. The President also emphasized the challenges the bar is facing. He talked about the bar-bench relationship, and also emphasized the ULS cases pending in court, which needs prioritizing. and that was very good feedback to us. And the president also reminded our guest of honor yesterday, the Honorable Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Honorable Norbert Mao, about the ongoing backbench relationship and his duty as a honorable minister. Then from the president, we moved to the guest of honor, giving us his remarks. That's the Honorable Norbert Mao, Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, who also emphasized the issue of boundaries in whatever we are doing. Technology has boundaries, the bar has boundaries, the bench has boundaries. Everything we do has its own boundaries, and reminded us to ensure that we work within our boundaries, but also to remain focused on what we are doing. He also pledged to continue interacting and also bridging the gap between the bar and the bench for the best of the legal fraternity. So we had a very good session with the guest of honor, and after that we went into the keynote address, which was very insightful by none other than His Excellency the Ambassador, Professor Njemo Vitange, who gave us a very good speech concerning where the legal profession is standing under the topic of emerging technologies and the law, opportunities and challenges for East Africa. He emphasized issues to do with digital transformation. He emphasized issues to do with blockchain, cryptocurrencies we are in, and also mentioned how technology is driving systems and also improving and avoiding fraud. He cited an example in Kenya where he talked about so much land grabbing, and when he was talking about that, he was not sure whether in Uganda there is land grabbing. For us who were listening, we were just saying as if you knew. But he emphasized that technology has helped Kenya to reduce these cases of land grabbing, because there's a system before any transaction is done on somebody's title, a notification and a consent goes to the owner, and that is really raising a red flag for somebody to know and to be sure of what is taking place. So that is something which was very good, and some of our members belong to Land's Office. I'm aware Land Office has the National Land Information System, and that is also driving technology there, and we hope they will also benchmark from Kenya how they are doing it and how they have reduced land fraud there, because land fraud here is too much. Thereafter, we went into breakout sessions. We had quite a number of them. We had one on digital justice on demand, and we are looking at driven ADR and ODR for inclusive access to justice, moderated by none other than Ruth Mohawe, and it had panelists like Honorable Justice Geoffrey Chiawire, Counsel David Kagwa, and Counsel Patson Arinaitri, who were the panelists, and they took us through very insightful session concerning ADR and its place in the digital justice. And Justice Chiawire mentioned very many insightful issues, including AI, among others, and we were very honored to receive that. Another breakout session was moderated by, was on crypto crash and compliance frontiers, crafting legal pathways in the digital currency revolution. That was moderated by Counsel Patrick Mugarura, and among the panelists we had Counsel Robert Chirunda, among others, and that also navigated so much into issues of cryptocurrency and where Uganda stands. As you are aware, Bank of Uganda, Joe was reminding us yesterday here, Bank of Uganda made a consultancy, I think early this year or last year, concerning cryptocurrencies. But that followed a decision by High Court last year, of Silver Kayonda against Bank of Uganda, and I think Bank of Uganda, where the High Court seemed to suggest that cryptocurrency is unknown in Uganda and it has no legal basis here. That decision disappointed me a bit, but that is it. From there, we also had another breakout room session, which had our senior lawyers, and that was Crossed Wires, Bridging Generation Perspectives on Legal Tech. And we're looking at tech tensions, learning curves, reverse mentorship, and common ground between senior and young lawyers. That was moderated by our counsel, Christine Namachika, and had senior counsel including Moses J. Adrico, Professor Frederick Sempewa, Alex Resida, and Miriam Atim. That was a very insightful also session, trying to see the issue of BBC lawyers born before computers. Where do they lie in this digital world? The young lawyers, how do they navigate? And taking us through what's the future of legal practice for both young and senior lawyers. That was also very insightful. Then another breakout session we had was safeguarding privacy, a focus on data security, cyber security risks, temperance, and accountability. We are exploring the ethical, legal, and cyber security responsibilities of legal professionals in an era of escalating digital threats. That was moderated by none other than our counsel Joe Basoga of H&G Advocates. It was a very insightful session which was touching on live wires, practical aspects. And we had panels like Julian Reju, Director E-Governance Services, NITA, Becca Biri Kuja, that is Acting Director, the National Persons Data Protection Office. We had Jime Haguma, Acting Commissioner of Uganda Police. We had also Caroline Mogisha, Director Regulations and Legal Services, NITA, and Mustafa Barnabas Mogisha, that was a Summit Consulting colleague. And all panelists attended the session. They gave us very insightful observations, and we also had an interaction with them, and to confirm, Joel, that this was not a wasted effort. This morning, as I was seated here, Mr. Baker has given me a follow-up call concerning ECMIS and data privacy, especially video conferencing, resulting from Mr. discussion. I said it touched him, he didn't even sleep well. So he's saying we need to take it up until we have a solution, and he wants to liaise and we'll move on with the effort. And that is one of the efforts we needed to bring this Tech Fest in perspective. How do we protect our clients' confidentiality with lawyers in the digital world? It is happening elsewhere. It has caused problems in other jurisdictions. We don't want the problems to come as we promote our digital transformation. Thank you, Joel, for that session. It was very, very productive. The last breakout session we had yesterday was on the topic of women in tech, and we had Wired for Impact, women lawyers leading the future of legal tech. It was moderated by none other than our Alinda Ikanza, and she had panelists like Sandra Acheng, that is Idi Wugnet, Zubeda Namgeny, the founder of MAMK and LegalFort. Then we had Yasmin Ahmed, the founder, Femtech. We also had Mebo Chisaka, chairperson, Trade and Regional Integration Committee of the East African Law Society. That was also insightful in bringing women in perspective of technology and how the digital world is impacting the practice of women, and also how the future of legal practice will be for women in this digital world. That was also an insightful session. And as you see, all sessions are touching issues of digital transformation, digital revolution, and that is the focus of this two-day event. That was very insightful, and that is what we had as our package yesterday. Of course, those who were here physically, we managed all to, I don't know whether calling it winning or we are awarded with gifts. Everybody received a gift and didn't go home empty-handed. He had deliverables to take home. So that was something very insightful. We're expecting more today. When I see the chair seated in front here, I know more gifts are coming today, and we are waiting to receive them. And of course, the bank bins, which we are all waiting to win. I don't know who takes it, but it might be one here or somebody online. So we thank you for yesterday's session, and today it is also going to be something very fundamental. Thank you so much. Back to you, Hilda.
Thank you, Professor, for that detailed summary of what transpired yesterday. At this moment, I'll invite the chairperson of the organizing committee of this festival, Mr. Tony Galandi, to address us. Thank you.
You know, we have to be tech savvy, more especially when we have the grandfather of technology, Professor Barry Amureva, around. So, thank you, the MC. I want to welcome everybody on the second day of our inaugural festival. My task is simple today, and the task is as simple as thanking you for showing up. It's as simple as saying the shift today marks the beginning, and it matters because today justice must shed its colonial era robes and wear the jumpsuit of innovation. A conference implies we are still debating. A festival means we are already ready to celebrate the transformation. The law must stop being Uganda's slowest adapter and become its smartest disruptor. I am very humbled and honored to be given the mandate by the most perpendicular president, Isaac Asemakade, and the most perpendicular Radical New Bar Council to lead this conversation by way of organizing the Tech Festival. You and me will appreciate one thing, that lawyers worship precedents like a sacred text. But then even the Bible was translated from Latin, and that's why the good professor is able to read it in Lunyankole today. So we must not be rigid. And our inertia of fear of disappearance, obsolescence, and obsoleteness should not overtake our thirst and hunger and pursuit for change. I'm glad you have embraced the change. I'm glad you have given us the support. It will be very un-Christian of me not to thank endlessly our sponsors who have made this a success. Without you, honestly, it would have been a difficult journey, but you have made it so smooth. I want to take the honor to thank MTN Uganda, our platinum sponsor. I think they deserve a mighty hand clap. And the CEO of MTN and MTN as a team, we look forward to having this relationship move away from a weekend marriage to a permanent marriage. I also want to thank Stanbic Bank. I want to thank NSSF. I would also want to thank the selected law firms that have come through to support financially and technically. And I will start with Diamond Advocates. We also want to thank S&L. We want to thank Abmac Associates. The media groups have also been very, very key. And I want to thank the Nation Media Group. I want to thank the Vision Media Group. Also want to thank URCB as one of our sponsors. I also want to thank Bluebell Legal Advocates. Most importantly, I also want to thank UNICAF University. Ladies and gentlemen, let the disruption begin. And I will do this by taking the honor to invite the PS Ministry of ICT to come and take the honor to represent the ministry, but also most importantly, to open the function. Ladies and gentlemen, the PS is being represented by Mr. Ambrose Luyoka. Mr. Ambrose Luyoka is the Acting Commissioner, Information and Technology and head of the Department of ICT Research and Systems at the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance. He has over 25 years of experience in ICT policy, legal and regulatory framework, education and digital transformation, with professional engagements across Uganda, Namibia, and Papua New Guinea. And I think that makes him the right fit to open this function. He has played a role in shaping Uganda's ICT policy and legal regulatory framework, from drafting and consultation to supporting technical engagements in the enactment of the UCC Broadcasting Merger, the NITA Act, the Computer Misuse Act, the Electronic Transactions Act. Ladies and gentlemen, given an opportunity to describe this man, I may need another 1 hour. And the good professor, Professor Barry Amureva, will not be very impressed because I wouldn't have managed the time he taught me to. May I take this singular honor to invite Mr. Ambrose Luyoka to come and officially open our second day of this conference. Let us give him a mighty hand clap as he takes the podium. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the introduction. As the Bible says, I'm a Christian. There's a section somewhere where somebody was saying that I'm not fit to even untie the laces over the person's feet, the person who was who they were expecting. So introduction makes me feel humbled, and I'm honored to represent Dr. Amina Zawode, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance. As Tony has mentioned, Ambrose Urioka is my name, and I've been around the sector. If Professor Vayamariaba is a grandfather, then I'm the senior koja, or the senior uncle, because he's one of my mentors, and I've worked alongside him over the past 25 years now, from the time we started the master's program in computer science 2001 at Makerere University, and I haven't looked back. I will stand on the existing protocol, and I begin by bringing you warm greetings from Dr. Amina Zawode, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance, who sends her best wishes for this historic first ever Uganda Law Festival. Indeed, a festival which is a time to celebrate. She regrets not being able to make it in person, but has entrusted me with the honor of delivering the opening remarks for the second day. The festival indeed marks a bold shift from the traditional centrally held annual conferences to a participatory, inclusive, and technology-driven national platform. It signals readiness for transformation in how we deliver justice, engage citizens, and shape our professions for the future. I personally, as mentioned by Tony, have had a close working relationship with the legal fraternity, participating in the enactment of the key legal and regulatory frameworks that are governing the country today. I recall somewhere in 2003 when we had the Council Mbabazi trying to take us through what was called the UNESCO law at the time when we were considering drafting the stack of the three laws, that is Computer Misuse Act, the Electronic Transactions Act, and the Electronic Signatures Act. And presenting that to the general public sounded like a different language. And I remember the day when it was passed before Parliament, the person who presented it didn't get any other comment from the floor or from the House. They just voted after that was presented. So it shows us where we have come from, to see that the legal minds now can come here and held a festival over the subject of digital transformation. We are not stopping here for now, and in the month ahead, as the Minister of ICT, we are leading a process of consultations for the development of the artificial intelligence and emerging technologies governance framework. So we'll be coming back to you as the fraternity for your support again in enactment of this law that will be very critical for pushing us toward realizing the digital vision Uganda. The Ministry of ICT sees technology not as a luxury, but as a strategic enabler of justice. We all know what's happening today with the e-courts that cut delays. We all have seen AI-empowered research tools that improve legal analysis. We've had some of the lawyers here doing work for firms that are based abroad, and basically through technology, through what we commonly call information technology-enabled services or business process outsourcing. We've seen mobile clinics that reach underserved communities, and we've seen secure digital identity systems that protect rights of individuals. And these tools are within our reach when innovators, practitioners like yourselves, and policymakers work together. Transformation, therefore, must serve all Ugandans. Rural communities, junior practitioners, and marginalized groups cannot be left behind. I applaud the festival's inaugural hubs, the hybrid participation, and deliberate inclusion of young lawyers and legal tech entrepreneurs. The model of decentralizing this so somebody who is in Gulu and Mbarara and Bare can be able to participate has been made aware is a real demonstration of what we are talking about in terms of inclusion. To ensure digital justice that works for the people, we must therefore strengthen data protection and privacy, ethical artificial intelligence regulation, cybersecurity readiness, and interoperability of systems for seamless e-justice, among others. All of this is part of Uganda's digital transformation roadmap that we'll be sharing later. The chairman has confirmed that he will give us a session where we can, in detail, share our digital transformation roadmap for Uganda. But for now, I can mention that this roadmap has 5 pillars, one focusing on infrastructure, one focusing on digital skills, one focusing on capacity building and development of systems, one on cybersecurity and data protection, and the last one on innovation and entrepreneurship. So we will have a session later where we'll engage with you and discuss the pillars of Uganda's national digital transformation roadmap. The design of this conference to include hackathons, design challenges, and tech expos are really a good evidence proving that Uganda has the talent and creativity to lead in digital justice. And as we open day 2 today of this festival, I invite you to engage in shaping our artificial intelligence and emerging technical and legal frameworks, adopting the digital transformation roadmap principles in your practice, building partnerships across ICT and justice, and ensuring that no Ugandan is left behind as we tread the path of digital transformation. On behalf of the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance, therefore, I commend the Uganda Law Society for its vision, and together let us make our justice systems and our nation accessible, inclusive, and digitally future-ready for God and my country. I thank you and wish you all the best of today.
Thank you very much for that very hopeful message to all of us. At this point, I'll invite the Vice President. No? Okay. Sorry. Apologies. A slight change in the program. We are officially opening today's session with a performance which will be at the exhibition area. So those of you who can walk down to see it live, please go down. But I'm sure that the technology team will be able to present it on the screen as well. So we have a performance interlude. Thank you.
Roll it out,
Odog Laurent, Odog Gaillon, Toto, Hajede, Odog Gaillon, Odog Papa, Odog Gaillon, Gogo, Rena Gaillon, Dena, Hajede, Bien.
Pede pedio la dia. Pede pedio la dia. Pede pedio dia. Amo kwa kula dia. Ya tu de que la dia. Pede pedio la dia. Pede pedio la dia. Amo kwa kula dia. Ata kwa kula dia. Amo kwa kula dia. Pede pedio la dia. Pede pedio la dia. Pede pedio la dia. Pede pedio la dia. Amo kwa kula dia. Amo kwa kula dia. Amo de que de coco. Amo de que de moro. Amo kwa kula dia. Kama peicho tilo dia. Pede pedio la dia. Pede pedio la dia. Pede pedio la dia. Pede pedio la dia. Yam. Muru.
Kona check. Akono I check. Alain. Padana dia. Kau gan.
Arotoki na korokoro, arotoki akume de via kiruwe de via kolonga de via koro. Arotoki akuma, arotoki na korokoro, arotoki na wadaja. Wo, yiko poke tuna tarobo. Aguma, arotoki akuma, arotoki de via ujana roe de dinge mane de dinge jivio.
Arotoki akuma.
Gengi muno, gengi dingi pe, gengi dingi gatapa, gengi dingi modingo, gengi dingi tome. Wah, hadir ulo tiga mo etamu. Holo ti magan. Wah. Itu mana ni kama mebela, itu mana ni kama mebela. Akino domo kana ratinya, hebo munya choto makuruya. Akuma oye oye. Hakuma yeye oye, hakuma yeye oye. Ketumana ni kama mebela, ketumana ni kama mebela. Akidodo kana ratinya, ebo onye choto mamuruya. Hakuma yeye oye, hakuma yeye oye, hakuma yeye oye. Ekodiro terengolo lapat, ekodiro terengolo lolom. Ikilo di waju ikidoli, tuwalu ngikari mojo, tuwalu ngikateker, tuwalu watu original. Dari mana nikidoli, kaya kidoli ikidoli, akone o ikidoli, amina nari ikidoli, angakile ikidoli. Itu mana ni kama mebela, itu mana ratinya epokonye chotoma muruya akuma yeye woye akuma yeye woye akuma yeye woye muna padi todoloja dodojo wadio todoloja notaliko di todoloja akupana no todoloja muna padi todoloja dodojo wadio todoloja notaliko di todoloja akupana no todoloja ana alo ana todoloja alo tege dia nugu todoloja ana alo dia nugu todoloja ana dia anaga todoloja ana dia dia nugu alo kali alogo ana nakara yoko kara latela yoko ibarene yoko ibona yoko kare niye toko yoko kare niye padiko wa kare nakira yoko ana moto yoko dada atekere yoko dada kutari moto dada kujiye dada kutego dada kuturukana dada kuyamatomi dada kuyitobo dada.
Hello, MTN.
Hi, how are you?
I'm okay. So what? Hello, MTN.
Hi, how are you?
So what products do you have for us here?
We have a range of business solution products that we are having. We have security, which is the cameras, which are basically have to do with your security at home to make sure that at least you see whatever is happening. Either it's home, your business, your workplace, or wherever you are. So we have a range of security cameras here. We have the Bullet 3, which is an outdoor device. Then we also have the Ranger 2, which is the indoor 360 camera. Then all this can be configured on your phone, and you get whatever is happening in real time, as long as you also have connection with the MTN Wakanet internet.
Oh, wow. This is indeed the digital transformation. Thank you, MTN. Any other product that you have for us?
Like I said, we have a range of the other, internet solutions and business solutions. We also have Wakanet, which comes in ranges of portable devices and also fiber as well. So, like we said, we are here 360 to cover whatever is happening. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This is MTN Uganda, MTN Momo, empowering Uganda's digital future. Thank you. This is the Digital Transformation Festival, Radical New Bar.
All right, amazing.
Hello, Magezi Harvest Limited.
Having
what
a few
products do you have for
snippets
us?
from the exhibitors as we
Morning
wait
to
for
you.
the next session.
Good morning. So Magezi Harvest, we are an IT firm, and today we've come to showcase a product called Magezi Lawyer. That is LOOYA.UG. And what Magezi Lawyer does is that it is a product that is going to be linking lawyers and any other legal practitioners in the country with the different clients that may be around the country as well. And then at the same time, we'll be having a pool of resources. So that is anything legal. This can be very helpful for academia. This can at the same time be very helpful for guys that are already practicing in the field. And then at the same time, lawyers, for example, will be able to share documents like those across the system with their clients. And for example, if somebody takes on a new case, they can be able to track a case on the system from when it starts up to when it moves to the very final bits on the end of the client. So everybody's happy on either side. In a nutshell, that is what Magezi is, and it's what we're showcasing today as Magezi Harvest Limited. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This is Magezi Harvest. We lead it with Magezi. Yes, URSP. Thank you for coming. Any products that you have for us in the booth?
We are the Uganda Registration Services Bureau, or URSB. And what we are showcasing today in line with the Digital Fest is that all our services are online. So you can access our business registration services on OBRS. And then you can also access our IP services also on the URSB website. So do not hesitate to come to our booth and ask us any questions if you have any queries, if you have anything that you need to know about URSB. Yes.
Milima Security. Yes, Milima Security, what products do you have for us?
Good morning. So today we are here to sell our Hack Ninja Teen Cybersecurity Bootcamp and also give cybersecurity advisory to the different people here.
Thank you so much. This is Milima Security, and we're going to continue from here. Oh, there is Diamond Advocates before we go. Yes, Diamond Advocates, what do you have for us? It's among the firms that sponsored this digital transformation.
Yes, good morning. Yes, we've developed a mobile application called iLawyer, where we connect the lawyer with the client. So what the lawyer does, create a profile, then provide us their working hours. Then the clients, what they do, they just find the lawyer of interest for a particular area. Then they can contact them. So finding the lawyer, you use internet, but then contacting the lawyer, you use a telecom network connection. So which means you can contact a lawyer at any time. What you need to have is internet, just to find the lawyer, then airtime, just to contact the lawyer. Yes.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Diamond Advocates. We are going to continue.
Thank you so much.
Before we go, please, we have NSSF here. We are going to come back and they tell us their products. We have ICMIS, Judiciary. We have ULI, Uganda Legal Information Institute. We have Safe Border, the Development Center, Stanbic Bank, Utami University, Digital Resilience, Legal AI Africa, Ireland. This is the Digital Transformation Festival. Let us come and see this people showcasing. Thank you.
By the way.
And the people who want to register for their IDs in order to renew, we have new right here. You can get off like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, you're done. Thank you.
Well responsible to
Thank you, Mary Gority, for that run through the exhibitioners. At this point, I'll invite our Honorable Vice President, Uganda Law Society, to address us and invite the keynote speaker. Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much. And once again, I do welcome you to our day 2. It's indeed a digital transformation festival. Digital transformation. I don't know how many of us have that energy. So the Karamajong dance, it is not a very easy one. It couldn't be performed inside here because the roof might come down. That's why we had it from out there. Well, all protocol observed, as earlier highlighted by the previous speakers. A good morning to you, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Uganda Law Society, I warmly welcome you to this landmark gathering once again, the Digital Transformation Festival 2025, the first of its kind. Like we've been saying, this is no ordinary event. It's a deliberate and radical fusion of what has traditionally been our annual conference with the exciting and indeed inevitable wave of our digital transformation agenda, one of the 4 Ds of the Radical New Bar, which is demilitarization, decolonization, democratization, and digital transformation. Yesterday and today, we are not only discussing law in theory, but also experiencing law in its new digital habitat. You've seen while Goreto was taking us through the exhibitions down there, most of them, the majority, are innovations, technological innovations. This is a festival in the truest sense of the word, inculcation of knowledge, innovation, and professional reinvention. The legal profession, like others, stands at a critical juncture. Digitalization is no longer a matter of choice. It's no longer a matter of choice. It is a professional imperative for every lawyer, every advocate out there. Across industries, from finance to engineering, from health to education, technology has shifted from being an optional tool to becoming the very infrastructure upon which work, service delivery, and accountability depend. For the legal sector, the stakes are even higher. Our systems of justice, our modes of advocacy, and our engagement with clients are all undergoing a profound transformation with this digital era. We must therefore recognize that embracing this change is not merely about keeping up with the times. It's about future-proofing justice system in itself. A justice system that cannot adapt to technological realities will soon become inaccessible, irrelevant, and ineffective. Most importantly, to become irrelevant. As Nelson Mandela once reminded us, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. In our case, digital literacy has become part of that weapon, and the governing council, the Radical New Bar Governing Council, is committed to supporting you tirelessly through this journey. That is why we've been intentional with digital transformation. That is the reason we are rebranding. We are focusing on digital transformation, hence this Digital Transformation Festival. There's an issue of the global digital shift and the legal profession. Within this 4th industrial revolution, it has arrived in Uganda's legal sector, not with fanfare alone, but with real challenges and opportunities. Technologies such as artificial intelligence, blockchain, and online dispute resolution are transforming how we practice law. Yesterday we had a discussion of all these, and we had insightful thoughts of innovators, mind-blowing revelations some of us didn't know. Documents that once took days to prepare can now be drafted in minutes. Case law that used to be locked away in archives is now accessible on a smartphone. Court appearances can be conducted virtually, reducing delays and costs. But with this power, with this innovation, comes responsibility, like the Honorable Minister yesterday told us. We must ask ourselves, how do we ensure that the adoption of digital tools enhances, but rather not undermines, the core principles of justice, human rights, and the rule of law? That's a question for all of us as we adopt. As the late Chief Justice Al Warren of the United States once observed, it is the spirit and not the form of law that keeps justice alive. Technology must therefore serve justice, not the other way around. That's the warning the Honorable Minister talked about. One of the most pressing concerns in this transition is the digital divide. That's both within the profession and among the citizens we serve. While many urban-based advocates can now file cases online, a rural litigant in Nakapiripiriti, in Kaweramaido, in Kalangala, may still struggle to access basic internet connectivity. Digital transformation must therefore be inclusive. A court that moves entirely online but excludes citizens without internet access is not a modern court. It is simply a more efficient instrument of exclusion. The promise of technology in justice will only be fulfilled when every Ugandan, regardless of location or income, can benefit from it. Our duty as lawyers, therefore, is to ensure that this progress is distributed fairly. And that's what we should focus on now, since there's no going back. There's another issue of a changing skill set of a lawyer, the part that has not been focused on through our legal education. The lawyer of tomorrow will not just need to master legal principles, statutes, and precedents. That is no longer enough. They will need fluency in digital tools, cybersecurity awareness, and an understanding of emerging issues such as data privacy, e-commerce law, and technology-driven dispute resolution. Our most perpendicular chair, namesake Galandi, has been telling us here that even if you're a criminal law practitioner, in the past we've been defending robbers who use hammers and guns to rob banks. But right now you're going to find yourself representing someone who has been arrested for a robbery of having stolen money from a bank, but when they are just seated, on a boat in the middle of the sea, transferring money from an account to an offshore account. So if you're not skilled, if you understand your principles of burden of proof and standard of proof, and the ingredients of robbery or theft, how will you be able to represent this person or to contribute when you have no idea about these elements as a lawyer? It is this, therefore, telling that some firms globally now have chief innovation officers or legal engineers. I don't know how many law firms here have those, but globally law firms are shifting. They have employed these people in their law firms as part of their core teams. They are probably even more important and more core than the normal legal researchers and advocates who go to court. This shows us a reality we cannot ignore, that legal expertise alone will not be enough. We should be able now to build and fit within the digital justice system. We are entering an age where a young lawyer may draft a pleading using AI assistance, file it through an e-litigation platform, attend a hearing on a video link, and receive judgment in an electric format, all without ever stepping into a courthouse. From the comfort of their home. They don't even need to drive through the traffic. They might not even need to rent office space, because with the tools we are seeing, clients can actually be met online, which is probably even a cheaper way. So how do we, as the membership, adapt? Are we going to fight this? Are we going to embrace it? Are we going to focus on the challenges or harness the opportunities there are? There's another big issue of ethics in the digital era. And as much as technology offers efficiency, it also presents profound ethical dilemmas. Cybersecurity breaches, deepfake evidence, AI bias, and the misuse of personal data are now a pressing concern. How do we protect client confidentiality when our communications are conducted over digital platforms? How do we verify evidence that may have been digitally manipulated? Here, the Uganda Law Society has a critical role to play not only in regulating the profession, but also in providing guidance on ethical best practices in the digital age. We must reaffirm our ethical codes are technology neutral. They apply with equal force whether advice is given in a courtroom, a boardroom, or over a Zoom call. It is our mandate as the National Bar to ensure that the citizens are protected from these kind of manipulations. As the jurist Benjamin Cardozo once wrote, justice, though due to the accused, is due to the accuser also. The concept of fairness must not be strained until it is narrowed to a filament. In the digital realm, fairness means applying technology in ways that maintain integrity, protect rights, and uphold the dignity of all parties. Now this is a time to focus on collaboration beyond borders and professions. The legal sector cannot navigate this digital revolution alone. We therefore need partnerships with technologists, engineers, educators, financial experts, and policymakers. This is why the festival's agenda is so powerful. It brings together judges, lawyers, ICT experts, academicians, and innovators under one roof. Because we must depend on each other, we must learn from each other. That's the intention of this festival. That's the reason we decided to move away from the ordinary and radically take on this new journey. As we will see, and we've seen in the various breakout sessions, from cryptocurrency regulation, which was covered yesterday, to women in tech leadership, this is an era where cross-disciplinary collaboration is no longer an option, but a fact. We must collaborate, we must integrate and work together. The judiciary, for example, cannot modernize court systems without ICT specialists. Law firms cannot safeguard client data without cybersecurity professionals. Legislators cannot regulate emerging technologies without input from the industries that create them. This is why forums like this one, the ones we chose to do, are inevitable, because they create space for dialogue that shapes policy, practice, and innovation. Uganda therefore has a chance to leapfrog certain stages of development by embracing technology early and strategically. Just as mobile money allowed us to expand financial inclusion without building traditional banking infrastructure everywhere, so too can digital justice platforms help us deliver legal services to the remotest parts of the country. If it can be done in the financial sector, why not in the legal sector? Someone can access, mobile money or financial services, even from the deepest areas of Karamoja. Why is it so hard to apply the same in the legal sector? But to seize this opportunity, we must invest not just in tools, but in people, training lawyers, judges, and court staff in legal literacy, equipping law schools to teach legal tech, and ensuring that regulatory frameworks keep pace with innovation. Yesterday, while we focused on reverse mentorship with the senior lawyers, and we had the example that was given by Senior Frederick, that during that time of practice, the only available tool was a typewriter, where you had to sit and they type for you. When you tell that to a young lawyer right now, they don't understand. So why shouldn't the senior lawyers, the older lawyers who did not benefit from this, learn from the younger generation? But what does this mean for us? That we need now to be intentional and ensure that in our legal education, we, take up this whole aspect of digital transformation. As Alvin Toffler, the futurist, once said, that the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn and learn and relearn. That will be the new definition of illiteracy. As advocates and learned friends, we cannot afford to be called illiterate, therefore. For that reason, we must prepare ourselves for continuous learning in this fast evolving space. As I conclude, colleagues, the digital future is not approaching. It's here. Yesterday, we kept saying we are living in the future. We're already in the future. Our challenge is not to resist it, but to shape it. As we engage and as we get out of here, let us remember that technology by itself is neutral. It is the values, vision, and vigilance we bring to it that will determine whether it becomes an instrument of justice or an instrument of inequality. It's within our hands as the legal profession. Let us therefore commit to making Uganda a place where digital transformation strengthens, not weakens the rule of law, and where innovation serves people, where justice is not just delivered, but delivered efficiently, inclusively, and securely. Thank you all, and I once again appreciate and welcome you. And now I have another very important role to play. I've been instructed, and I must say I'm honored to introduce our keynote speaker for today, whom in the Radical New Bar Council we refer to as the digital maverick. This is Professor Vanessius Bariamureba. He is a distinguished academic, researcher, and higher education leader with over 3 decades of experience in university education, research, management, and governance. He holds a Bachelor of Science in Mathematics, a Master of Science, and a PhD in Computer Science. Members, you might need to type this profile because it's really long, so that you don't lose along the way. But I'll be happy to articulate it the way it is. He is currently the chairperson of the board of directors at Uganda Technology and Management University. That's UTAMU, one of the exhibitors. This is an institution he founded in 2012. Since 2017, he has also served as the chancellor of Ibanda University. Professor Bariamureba previously held senior leadership roles at Makerere University, including professor, director, dean, and vice chancellor. He was later appointed the founding vice chancellor of UTAM, where he played a pivotal role in establishing the university as a center of excellence in technology and management education. He served as the chairperson of the Uganda Vice Chancellors Forum from 2013 to 2016, a platform that brings together vice chancellors from both public and private universities in Uganda to address strategic issues affecting the higher education sector. Regionally, Professor Bariamureba has made significant contributions to higher education, integration, and development. He served as chairperson, that is between 2009 and 2010, and member between 2009 and 2012 of the Inter-University Council for East Africa, an institution of the East African community tasked with fostering the sustainable development of higher education and research for regional integration and economic development. He also served as a member of the African Institute for Capacity Development from 2011 to 2013, focusing on poverty eradication, reduction through human capacity, development across Africa. From 2013 to 2016, he was the founding chairperson of COMESA Innovation Council. He was responsible for advising member states on harnessing knowledge and innovation for regional development. The Council also managed the COMESA Innovation Awards, recognizing outstanding contributions to science, technology, and innovation in the region. Professor Walyamureba further served as chairperson of the Uganda Business and Technical Examinations Board, now the Uganda Vocational and Technical Assessment Board, from 2013 to 2019. Over the years, he has also held numerous other leadership roles on councils, boards, and regulatory authorities, both nationally and internationally. He is the recipient of numerous national and international awards, honors, and recognitions for his exceptional contributions to education, research, leadership, and innovation. Now, Professor, the President of the Radical New Bar, Isaac Semakade, would have loved to introduce you himself, but he sends his apologies. He's currently representing the bar at the American Bar Association conference ongoing in Toronto. And he did directed me to do this. And while we were discussing, he gave me an interesting story, which I'm going to reveal here, about Professor, whom we keep saying is definitely the architect of a radical new university idea. He told me that Professor mentored him at Kampala Casino. And there's a quote he usually told him, that a good lawyer should be able to succeed simultaneously in a casino as in the court. Now, this is Professor's quote, and it got me thinking I should also get started. Colleagues, let's put our hands together for our keynote speaker, Professor Walyamureba. We should clap until he gets here.
All protocol observed, I want to thank the President and the Vice President of Uganda Law Society. And I'm happy that you invited me to come here and speak as a keynote speaker. I was out of the country, but I had to come back because I took the invitation seriously. And so I'm going to talk about digital transformation in the legal industry. I will write a brief paper which I will send the Secretariat. But when I was asked the day before yesterday, I said I'll give a keynote address on this very topic because they left it open. But I said I'll speak about this. And I will not repeat all the good things that have already been said yesterday and today, but maybe I'll just add on. So, like I've said, I'm going to talk about the digital transformation in the legal industry. The legal industry, in this case, refers to the aggregation and integration of sectors within the economic system that provide legal services and goods. So, that's what I'm going to talk about. Now, from the speakers of yesterday and today, you must have noted that digital transformation revolutionizes how legal services are delivered and experienced through technological integration. Digital transformation can help professionals work efficiently and accurately to provide better services, provide better customer experiences and services. For example, if you look at the Uganda Police Force, it serves as the primary entry point in Uganda's justice system. It is a key player in the digital justice chain as a primary creator and supplier of data to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution and others in the jail sector. So that is why at universities we teach about forensic science and so on, because if the quality of the data is very important, how to secure a crime scene and all that, we teach that at universities to ensure that people who work with the Uganda Police Force and other related entities are able to have accurate data that's not tampered with. Now, there is somebody called Edgar Kuhimbisa. He recently wrote a good paper, that was in 2024, on the experience and impact of digital transformation in the administration of justice in Uganda, a critical analysis, and he published it in the International Journal for Court Administration. I encourage you to read this paper. Now the legal sector stands at the threshold of a transformative era. We have the chance to replace the world of paper and manual labor with advanced technology, like new collaboration platforms, generative AI or generative artificial intelligence, and automation. These are catalysts for redefining how the legal services are offered. Today I'm not going to give definitions here and there, but let me just say that when we talk about generative AI or generative artificial intelligence, it's the type of artificial intelligence that creates new content, such as text, images, music, and videos, by learning from existing data. Now, when you talk about it creates it by learning from existing data, it is not going to come to your wardrobe. This data must be available, must be accessible online, must be in systems. That is why digitalization is very, very important. If you have court judgments that are not anywhere online, then generative AI cannot help you. So it is very, very important, and I'm glad that the judiciary has tried to digitalize most of their records. But we want this across government, across sectors. As you must have heard maybe yesterday and today, artificial intelligence is an amplifier of human intelligence. And when people are smarter, better things happen. People are more productive, happier, and the economy thrives. So the human intelligence is now being complemented by artificial intelligence. So in the past, like maybe 50 years ago, many people didn't think that actually would be where we are today. But now with artificial intelligence, we have gone a long way. We only have to find out whether in Uganda we have gone a long way. So I remember when Uganda was coming up with a strategy for fourth industrial revolution, the United Arab Emirates had already come up with the fifth industrial revolution strategy. And then in 2024, I was asked to develop the East African Community fourth industrial revolution strategy. And then when I had a discussion with them, I said, why don't you develop the fifth or sixth fourth industrial revolution strategy? They told me some of our countries within the East African Community are still in the second industrial revolution, others in the third. So we always keep talking about leapfrogging. Now, when we start talking about artificial intelligence and emerging technologies, in a country like Uganda, we need to know where the key institutions are. In Uganda, we have a very, very important institution, the Public Service College. I think it was moved to Jinja, right? Do we know what it's doing at the moment? What is it doing? Training. People know what? So we have some of these critical institutions that are supposed to play key roles. I'll give you an example. We have a lot in common with the United Kingdom. In the United Kingdom, it's not like today. They came up with a course called Foundations in Artificial Intelligence for Government. And this course serves as a foundational introduction to artificial intelligence, specifically designed to provide government professionals with essential basics needed to understand and utilize artificial intelligence effectively. And this course is run by the Civil Service College of the UK. And when you take this course and you understand the basics, actually all civil servants are required to take this course. And you can even take it online. But later on, after you have gotten the basics, you can proceed and also get advanced qualifications. So that's how some countries organize whenever something serious like artificial intelligence comes up. But I'm sure that the Public Service College of Uganda is likely to take up this maybe 10 or 15 years from today. And at that time, a lot will have happened. Now, they have also in the UK put up an artificial intelligence resources center to serve the public and to guide people on how to use AI safely, effectively, and securely for government and public sector organizations. So this is very, very, very important. So like I'm saying, in Uganda as a country, we have to think about, when we talk about artificial intelligence, we talk about emerging technologies, what is the strategy? And the representative of the PS, Mr. Ryoka, has said he's going to have a moment at this festival where he's going to tell us more about what they are doing in the ministry. Now, we've all been told that technology is here to stay, and that is true. We have been told to harness technology, that is true. We have been told to acquire technological skills or become obsolete. That's a choice we have to make. We've been told to set clear boundaries as we navigate the digital world. The dangers of unregulated technology, unchecked technology, and so on. All this has been said and more. But then, where do we start from? What is it that we need most? And in order not to repeat what other people have already said, in the remaining part of what I'm going to say, I want to focus on a few things that I think, as Uganda Law Society, that I think, like as government of Uganda or judiciary, that we need to focus on. One of them is enabling legal framework. We can't do much in isolation, in silos. We need an enabling legal framework. I'll give an example. When I see the regulatory framework is crucial for successful digital transformation to ensure legal validity and proper usage of ICT tools and electronic processes. We need that framework. We need like a policy on artificial intelligence. We need a law on artificial intelligence. The laws Mr. Ryok talked about of 2003, where Senior Counsel Mbabazi was like one of the lead consultants. I was on that panel. But you see, these laws need to be revised regularly. So some of these laws are almost obsolete. So we need an enabling legal framework. I like it the way the government of Uganda does it when it comes to tax laws before the budget is read. A lot of laws are passed annually in revised form. There are lots of amendments. But we don't see this in other sectors. I remember in 2001, I was a young boy at that time. I just joined Mackay University as the director of the Institute of Computer Science. And they passed this law of the Universities and Other Tertiary Institutions Act in 2001. We all said at that time it was a bad law. And in 2003 and 2006, it was just amended to address a few issues concerning Mackay University Business School. And that was it. Several white papers have come up by McGregor and others. I think they're almost 7. Up to today, nothing much has happened. And we see this in other critical sectors. So, when we have a government and you have a lead of government business, we need to see that level of coordination where we look at all these critical, even when we talk about emerging technologies, we talk about AI. The higher education sector plays a critical role. But does it have the enabling legal framework? When you talk about the means of ICT, and ICT cuts across the various sectors of government, do we have an enabling legal framework that will help us to do what we want to do? So, this is something we need to take seriously, and without it, we are going to continue doing things that will not lead us somewhere. Now, one other thing I want to talk about is, as we talk about all this, once we have an enabling legal framework, of course we have a legal framework, but we want to have a robust one that can actually enable us to do what we want to do in this era of artificial intelligence. But one thing I want to talk about is that learning never stops. We need to learn and unlearn. So, the starting point in all this, and several countries have done this. Uganda, I saw a launch some time back. We are still there. There is the issue of digital skills. We need to certify people across government, across institutions. Digital literacy is a must. It's a starting point. So, in 2001, that's when we introduced e-learning in Uganda. I was the director of the Institute of Computer Science. We had support from the Netherlands government to do that. But at the same time, in 2001, we came up with a program for the whole university, Mackay University, and we called it end-user training. Because I would look at my colleagues in Senate and other organs, deans, professors, they know how to use ICT. At conferences and presentations, even reviewing papers, a lot. People didn't even know how to use a computer. By that time, the phones, very few people had phones. So we came up with this program and ensured that everybody was trained. And I was happy that a few professors like Professor Sabiti, Professor Sewankambo came to the classroom at the Institute of Computer Science and encouraged others to come. And at the end of 1 month, these guys were now experts in using ICT. And even today, they are still experts. So when we talk about digital literacy, we need to ensure that even the Chief Justice, the justices of the Supreme Court, Court of Appeal, everybody should go through this and they are certified. And if you can't bring people in a classroom, take it to their offices. I remember there is a professor I won't tell you of who said, I can't come to that open classroom. I offered to train him. And he said, send one of your senior colleagues. So one of my senior colleagues went and trained him from his office. And he finally got certified. So we need to have a way of how we can get to these people. If you leave the people at the top without this training, it won't mean much. I would tell you, because I do consultants, I do government advisory services. I'll tell you that when in Rwanda, in our neighborhood, President Kagame decided to really become an expert in ICT. All those who were in the cabinet looked for people to train them. That when they come to meetings, they are all ready. Even those who had this assumption, I'm likely to be appointed a minister, they had to do that. So we need to ensure that all critical people get this training. Digital literacy, there are certifications like ICDL and so on. But we need to pick out what is core. You may not have to take everything. So, but what is core must be taught and everybody must get it. Now, the other thing I would like to talk about, we talked about using AI. And we say that, you have to, when it is, when using AI, you are learning from existing data. This data must be in an information system. This data must be in a database. So digitalization of records is very, very important. Judgments, books, everything. I remember in 1996, I went to Norway. That's why I did my master's in computers, 95 in computer science. And everything was digital at that time. The library was digital, but they still had the same in the physical library. They had a robust e-library, So whenever you need information, you'd access it from anywhere. You need to go to the physical library. So digitalization is very, very important. And so that is critical. But we can have all these things available digitally. We can have internet available in all places. The issue of access is very important. Access is important. Access with supporting infrastructure or equipment. If you are going to use ICT in a courtroom, you want to ensure that immediately the session ends, whatever has transpired in that courtroom, you're able to move from audio to text so that somebody can do simple edits and you have that. I've seen people who tell you that, yes, judgment will be like on this date. And then when that date comes, you say it will be on notice. And then it takes 4 years before you get the judgment, or even 5. So, yeah. So it is important. It is important. It is important that we equip the courts, wherever, even our own offices. We need this. And the other thing that I would like to talk about, that we need to understand the environment in which we operate. This is important because if you are going to coexist, you must understand the environment. So if today we have artificial intelligence or AI lawyers, and you're a lawyer, you must understand that environment to coexist. I remember in 2000, people were told that people who study like ICT or computer science, they won't have jobs. But you still have jobs today. So you have to understand how to coexist. There was a time when people were being taught on how to use a typewriter. We don't. So that was taken out of the curriculum. So even today, as a legal professional, as I talk about later, you need to look at some of the courses you are teaching. Some of these things you insist on to be in the curriculum for Bachelor of Laws and so on. Some of them may no longer be needed. You may have to introduce new areas. I recently received a form from a government entity which I was supposed to fill. And one of the mandatory information they were requiring was a fax number. How many of you still use faxes? Yeah? How many? So there are things we need to look at and say, do we still need them? But I want to say that we need to understand the environment in which we want to operate for us to coexist. And so like I've said, we have AI lawyers, we have AI legal systems. These are doing a component of what you do as lawyers. If you are, now we have a lot of commercial transactions online, a lot. E-commerce, e-business has taken shape. E-transactions, e-banking, digital currency, even mobile money, talked about Bitcoin, blockchain, Even banks have banking apps that you install on your phone, and if you're a naive user, you end up losing your money. Because if you don't secure your phone and somebody runs on it, you lose your money. So, but all this, if somebody loses money because there was a mobile app installed on his phone or her phone, I mean, how do you look into those issues? We have the issue of e-services. We even have, like, e-learning, we have e-libraries, we have e-assessment, e-administration. There is a lot that is going online. When you talk about emerging trends, it is not just about AI. There is a lot. So if you are a lawyer going to work in that area, you need some knowledge in that area. I remember when I used to have discussions with auditors, they were doing systems audit, but they didn't really have knowledge in information systems. Say, I'm going to do systems audit. Then they would come to you to help them, tell them what, and I told them you need to take a course, take a certificate in information systems, take a postgraduate diploma in information systems. It will help you. And if you go to countries like America, you'll find most of the best commercial lawyers, they go and do ACCA or Bachelor of Commerce in Accounting, again, do that whole program. So they have the knowledge in commerce or whatever you call it. So that is very, very important. So you need to have, to understand the environment. And part of understanding the environment, you must do some training. So beyond training in digital literacy, there is a lot that we can do. And I would like to say that if you still have 5 years in the legal profession, you want to be active, you can't run away from doing at least a certificate in the law of artificial intelligence. It will help you to understand the new dynamics. If you can't do that, do a certificate in artificial intelligence and its application in the legal practice. These are like executive courses, executive trainings that you can be offered because we have experts within the country. So that is something at the very minimum. And the certificate will take like not more than 3 months. Of course, like doing maybe 2 hours a day or maybe 6 hours a week because you are busy people. But that's something you need. Because if you don't, it will be like people who had shops and refused to move into the supermarket concept. Then people who wanted to have everything in one place left the shops and the shops had to close. But now the supermarket concept has also been modified. You have shops selling the different items next to each other. So you go to this shop, you buy cement, this shop, you buy this, the next shop and so on, but in the same locality, but trading in different things. So that is important. But it's also important that the education institutions and you, partners like Uganda Law Society, Law Council, we really revise the curriculum for those who have not yet left school, like the Bachelor of Laws. You can't teach a Bachelor of Laws without having a few courses in these emerging areas that are really impacting on what a lawyer does. So if somebody graduates with a Bachelor of Laws today and doesn't know much about the law of artificial intelligence, they'll have issues. So we need to, we have to also focus on what skills are we going to train these lawyers to live with when they are leaving university. So I think it is important that we do the review, and the review has to be done jointly. But some universities have already started before I wait for the general review. Like at Uganda Technology and Management University of UTAM, our Bachelor of Laws is taking care of this. We have kept your traditional curriculum, but we feel the students should take these courses in emerging areas like law of artificial intelligence as elective courses or as audited courses. But we'll ensure they take a certain minimum. But at the same time, we have also made like 4 of them mandatory that we feel that everybody should know. Like the way you go to Islamic University in Uganda, they say you must study Islam. You go to UCU, they say you must study religious studies. So for us, we are saying when you come to University of Technology and Management, you must study this even if you want to do law. So those who have given, and they are going to do them. And we have also like decided to put one of the options in a Master of Laws, which we are going to launch at the end of this month, intellectual property or IP and information technology law, where we ensure that the students who take that are able to really be grounded in this new era. But even the ones who take the LLM at UTAM will have the opportunity to take these as the other courses they can select from. So it is important that we provide opportunities for further training with skills. And I'm winding up. But like I said, There are those who can go for the extreme. You can even decide as a lawyer to do a Master of Science in Artificial Intelligence or Data Science, and you graduate. I know there are lawyers who did a Master of Science in Computer Science, did a PhD and so on, and they are lawyers. So that is important. Now, it is also important to look at areas like maybe doing a postgraduate certificate or diploma in ICT and law. These are courses that can be developed jointly with the Uganda Law Society. Now, at the beginning, I talked about e-learning. When you look at the Civil Service College of the UK, they ensure that their people, once they have digital skills, they don't have to come to a classroom. They study from wherever they are. So in this era of e-learning, where you can study anytime from any place and continue learning, lifelong learning, it is important as the Uganda Law Society, you look into that. You can have your customized course done for you, and you keep it on your platform, and your members keep learning. So that is, I think, something you need to look into. Now, the other thing is that for you actually to learn online, you need to ensure that you have already gone through digital skills, you know how to use the digital library, you are able to use e-learning platforms effectively, and of course you also have e-learning tutors that can support you online. You can't just be there on your own. But this takes me to one of the last things I want to talk about, that you need to do partnerships. You need to identify your partners. I've seen you have MTN and others, and more are coming on to bring in money for this, but you also need partners in other areas. Like where you can dictate a joint curriculum, you develop it and implement it, you know? Where you can do joint capacity building, where you can look at joint research. Some courses have researchers, but also have so many students at universities that want to do research. So if you can attach some of these students, like master's students, who have a Bachelor of Laws, to some of your offices, they can actually do a lot of good research for you. And maybe even write some judgments, and then you just look at them and review. So, of course, you also need, in this sector, there will be need for development and deployment of various systems, as Mr. Ryoka will talk to you about. So, for me, that is important. But let me tell you what is happening elsewhere as I conclude. Because I started when it was time for break, tea, and I see people are getting busy. So I'll give you a few of those. The New York State Bar Association, they put in place a task force on artificial intelligence. That was in 2024. And the task force, one of the key recommendations, they suggest that we should create a comprehensive education plan for judges, lawyers, law students, and regulators, so they can address the risks associated with artificial intelligence using existing laws and regulations. So for them, that's what they are proposing. But the question, one of the issues like I raised, and what you have to ask yourself is, why teach the use of AI in legal studies? One thing you should know as I wind up is that legal technology has advanced to the point where legal technology tools such as generative artificial intelligence, smart contracts, data analytics, cloud computing are so powerful that they are revolutionizing the practice of law. So if your stance on AI is I will retire before I use that, or I use it, you might consider early retirement. Because where we are headed, you may not be able to do much without knowledge in AI. It's no longer a question of whether to use AI, but when and how to do so responsibly to avoid risks associated with its use. Now, there is a recent study by in-house legal teams at Law 360 Paris. According to their study report, 80% of their in-house legal professionals were using artificial intelligence tools in their legal work, with 60% of law firm professionals reporting similar utilization. And that was in 2024. So, I think also your law firms are moving in the same direction. Let me just give you this one from the California State Bar. Practical guidance for the use of generative artificial intelligence in their practice of law. They say that a lawyer's professional judgment cannot be delegated to generative AI or generative artificial intelligence and remains the lawyer's responsibility at all times. The lawyer should take steps to avoid over-reliance on generative AI to such a degree that if it hinders the critical attorney analysis fostered by the traditional research and writing. So you are still saying even if you are using AI, you must still research, must still write, must still analyze issues. So that is very, very important. So as I conclude, as legal service consumers, do we care that a document was generated by artificial intelligence as long as the result is verified to be correct? So people generate these documents using artificial intelligence, but you have to verify and ensure that it's correct. And would your answer change if the cost to the consumer was considerably lower? Because the moment you blend with AI, like use a hybrid, the cost will come down. Now, as President Reagan used to say, trust but verify. So we can trust AI that's going to do the right things, that's going to look at data that's existing in the systems, but we should not just use it without verifying. It has happened in places like UK and the US, where judges issued judgments basing on laws that never existed or judgments that never existed. So it is important that we trust but we verify. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor, for that very insightful discussion. This was very eye-opening, and according to our online audience, they believe that learning will never cease. And according to your advice to all the listeners and everyone here today, Professor has told us that we should endeavor to get and acquire knowledge in AI. Otherwise, we're going to find ourselves on the wrong side in the long run, actually, in the short run. So at this moment, we are going to go to the next session, Q&A. If anyone in here or on the platform has any questions for the professor, this is your time. The mic is moving around. There is a hand right here.
Thank you very much. I thank Professor Baria for that insightful session. Professor, a few concerns and maybe comments. This is Paul Muchivi. One, you've mentioned about the issue of legal framework, and this should be a message back to the representative of the ICTPS. We are talking of laws of 2003. We are in 2025. What was in 2000, the technology we are in, this is where the professor was coming from, second industrial revolution, we are in the fifth industrial revolution, we are still talking about laws of 2003, which do not match with the current technology. Secondly, I've been checking consistently about the progress of AI policy framework, and the ministry is keeping promising. We are working on it. We are working on it. AI is already in place. This week, I appeared before the Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee on the Copyright and Neighboring Rights Amendment Bill 2025. And the issue I raised before them is that there's totally nothing to do with the AI in this bill. Copyright has already been hit by AI. I even showed them 2 links where music of the late Mose Radio and Azawi was used by an uploader using generative AI, composed music and is selling at a high rate. In the absence of any legal framework, they have been helpless. The estate of Mose is helpless, Azawi cannot also take them on because there are issues of who owns what has been uploaded, issues of consent. So we are now having a law being addressed, and it is not going to address the problem at hand. And we have a full Minister of ICT promising us policy framework year in, year out. And people's products, copyrights are being abused. Why don't we fast track the issue of policy, the issue of legal framework, such that we can be compatible with the new technologies? And lastly, Professor, I want assurance that WUTAM has really organized specialized courses for lawyers to navigate the technology world. This is one of the achievements we want from this Tech Fest, to see that at least WUTAM is designing tailored courses for lawyers to navigate ICT challenges. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Muchibi. Any other question?
One more question so that the professor can answer all of them at once. Anyone this side? All right. I think the other one is from the online. Okay, there is one person there.
Thank you, Professor. I'm Rebecca Nachidanda.
Professor, one person from the online audience, actually 2 to 3, are asking where can they study, get any studies from AI. Please recommend institutions which teach these short courses.
Okay. Yeah, I'll be very, very, very brief. On the legal framework, I agree with you on what you have said. One of the things I think we lack in this country, especially at that level of policy, maybe cabinet, is what they call onboarding. HR experts know what that one means. Because you can meet a minister in an office after 3 years in office, and then you get a feeling that this person doesn't know what he or she is doing in that office. You can even go to, let's say, a person at the level of a prime minister, and you find that this person doesn't know his or her mandate. So, for me, the issue of a legal framework is very, very critical, and we should not just come up with frameworks or laws in isolation. We need to scan the whole environment and then come up with what would work for the country in that given time. And this era, some of these revisions or amendments should happen annually, you know. Of course, when we talk about those laws of 2003, even by 2005, actually, by the time they were being enacted in Parliament, some things still wanted to be changed, but they were enacted. So by 2005, we should have done a lot then, but now we're in 2025, 20 years later. So I'll leave that one at that. The issue of assurance of special courses for lawyers, yes, the specialized courses for lawyers can be designed. That's why I talked about executive trainings. These are not courses you are going to do like a degree or a diploma. So these can be designed to have experts in Uganda. When you talk about AI for lawyers, you use people in ICT and also lawyers. So work together. And we can give you these courses. I can speak for UTAM. We have the experts. Even 2 of our recent PhD holders have PhDs in artificial intelligence. So, but we work with people who understand DALO and also AI. MIT, some of you may not have noticed, gave out free courses about a year ago in this area of AI. And we have lawyers who work with PhDs who trained in AI and law. So this can be provided. Now, maximum assurance that when you use AI, you'll not compromise on whatever you're doing with your clients. For me, that goes to, again, the legal framework. There has to be the national legal framework. Even the judiciary has to come up with its own framework to ensure that you lawyers or advocates who go to court, you don't compromise on those issues. Of course, you have your professional associations like Law Council. They also should have their framework at that level. Because how do they discipline you? So to me, you would not leave it out there. So we have to ensure that all these people have a framework to work with in this era of AI. Somebody is asking, where can these courses be taken from? I can tell that for us at UTAM, we can design for you these courses. We can work with Uganda Law Society and ensure we come up with what you really need. And we deliver them. I have my friend Amuchiba and others, we'll deliver them. So, but I'm not saying we are the only ones. If people have woken up in other universities, and I want to ensure that this area is addressed, well and good, we'll work together. But you don't have to go to UK, you don't have to go to US. We have the experts here who can do this. I thank you.
Thank you, Professor. And the question from the floor on the legal framework. So from the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance, when we talk about artificial intelligence and emerging technologies, we are not talking about a legal framework, but we are talking about a governance framework. And the governance framework, the way we understand it, from our perspective, it has a tiered approach. One, we begin with guidelines that are authored at the level of the permanent secretary. Next, we have strategies or strategic directions that are given at the level of the minister. The next, we have a policy that is approved at the level of the cabinet level. Then what follows is the law. And I want to believe that members from the First Parliamentary Council are here because they should be part of your fraternity. Anyone from FPC here? First Parliamentary Council, FPC? Okay. So yeah, the next law is the enactment of the law, where there is always the principles that are sponsored by either a department or a private member, and then the drafting happens with the FPC, as you know, then to go through all the processes. So that is the next. Then after that, then, we have regulations that come out of that. So, as far as artificial intelligence is concerned, what are we doing? I can confidently say that by end of this year, December 2025, we shall have an artificial intelligence and emerging technology strategy. So that one is worked on. While that is happening, we all know the process of developing policies and laws in Uganda. You have to first undertake what you call a regulatory impact assessment. So while we are working on the strategy, in parallel also a process has been initiated of undertaking a regulatory impact assessment that will guide us on the process of policy formulation and enactment of the law, the relevant and applicable law. We have received a private member's bill, But then we think artificial intelligence and emerging technologies, when you're going to enact a law on that, it has to be comprehensive and also based on international best practices. So when international best practices, the government is currently engaging in 3 different areas at international level. One, to ensure that we have a standards framework. So we are working with the International Standards Organization because a number of standards have been published by ISO. Working with UNESCO on what we are calling the ethical AI artificial intelligence use. All those will inform the governance framework. And then at the level of the International Telecommunications Union, also standards have been published. So as recent as August last year, 2024, that's when we saw the first, seemingly the de facto global AI Act that was published by the European Union as recent as last year in August. But on the African continent, what is guiding us now is a strategy on artificial intelligence at the African Union level that was assented to by all the partner states. And what countries are doing are cascading that to develop an AI strategy. So that's why Uganda, among other countries, is taking that step. Our neighbors in Kenya have already approved their strategy. Rwanda has done theirs, but we always make sure that we have a complete consultation framework. So we are not sitting and looking at others doing, but we are also trying to move in line with our roadmap to ensure to have a right governance framework. So at the appropriate time, we'll be coming to this fraternity to consult on how we can have a comprehensive governance framework for artificial intelligence and emerging technologies. I thought I should mention that. And soon, you'll also be hearing about the Information and Communications Bill that will be tabled before Parliament one of these days, which is also being worked on now. That's work still that's still at the first Parliamentary Council level. So that bill also will be reviewing some of the laws that have been placed. Yes, the 2003, I mentioned that to give the perspective of how far these conversations have started. But the discussion of the laws that began in 2003, it was actually enacted in 2011. The Computer Misuse Act of 2011 that was amended in 2022. That's the one where the work began in 2003. And we have the Data Protection and Privacy Act of 2019, which also is not an old piece of law. So we, as Professor says, yes, the revision and the update keeps on going on. And as I mentioned now, there are discussions of an Information and Communications Bill that is being worked on by the first Parliamentary Council. So I thought I should put that in perspective, and thank you very much once again.
Thank you very much for that comprehensive answer. I believe you have answered it very well, and everyone else has appreciated that the ministry is doing its best. So at this point, allow me to present our next speaker. We are going to have a presentation on AI-driven legal tech tools shaping the future of law, showcasing AI-powered legal tools, revolutionizing efficiency and client service in modern legal practice. We're going to allow me to invite the presenter. She is called Maria Pratat. I hope I've said it right. A German qualified lawyer with 9 years of experience driving legal innovations. As head of legal and business development at Jibu Docs, she combines law, technology, and business strategy to design innovative, scalable solutions that modernize legal services. Having lived in Kenya for 2.5 years and led projects across multiple jurisdictions, Maria brings a strong international perspective to her work. She holds a law degree from Ludwig Maximilian University in Munich and a design thinking diploma from the Hasso-Plattner Institute in Potsdam, and has led pioneering projects in legal tech. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Maria. A round of applause as she comes. Clap until when she gets here.
And I'm sorry for all the German words in that introduction. Okay. Hi, everyone. Can we turn on the presentation? Just give it a minute. But it will be easier for everyone to follow when we see the slides. Those are not my slides, I'm sorry. We will get there very briefly. All right, those are the slides. Can everyone hear me? I know I'm talking against the tea break, so it will be hard. And I know you have been listening a lot to already presentations the whole morning, but I try to keep this short and engaging. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me after. So briefly to myself, thank you very much for the introduction. I know many of you have been asking yourself, who is this one Muzungu at this conference? So now you know. And please excuse if there's sometimes a Kenyan accent coming through. It's something my brain could not defend from. And I picked it up very quickly. All right, let's go into the topic. As Professor has also given us a lot of information on the statistics in terms of usage of AI, I also brought a short statistics from the UK from September 24 in terms of adoption of generative AI. But what it's showing really clearly is that the adoption is going up very, very fast, especially over the last year. And it's an unstoppable force that we're all working with. For me personally, it's highly exciting. I started with legal technology in 2017, so finally things are now picking up speed and they're moving, so I'm really happy about that. But on the other hand, it also means that we as a legal profession, we have to move and adopt those tools and make our work more efficient. So this is what we're going to talk about now. Then I also had prepared a definition of AI, but I think we have heard so much about it yesterday and today that we can skip that part. But what I like is this statement. Think of AI as your colleague who is actually smarter than you sometimes, never sleeps, reads faster than anyone, but it needs guidance. So this is where we come in. So no, we will not be replaced, but we have to work with it and have also a good time in the meantime. So what are the possibilities of AI in the legal context? This is the general structure. So on the one hand, we have legal research and analysis, document management, drafting and review. I think those are the two main pillars that are also heavily discussed. We are getting more and more to case prediction and strategy, but then there are also the more daily routine tasks that can be automated very well. So it's the client intake and relationship management, billing, and time management. So the last 2 points, I think, are the points that are the least liked in our daily work. So they are also very helpful. So let's go to the legal research and analysis. So how does AI help us lawyers in our daily work when we have to do research? So on the one hand, it gives you a much better and advanced search experience, especially over case law, even legislation, gazettes, any type of legal documents that you're working with on a day-to-day basis, because through AI, technology is able to understand our legal language. The only problem is, especially for the African context, that often you find that those tools are not that advanced because there is not so much data available on local data, which I think we really have to work on to improve tools also for the local usage and not only for the Western market. And then it will also enable you to do a contextual search over long documents, giving you answers that you have not even maybe thought of that they could be in the document, but just by AI suggesting you new findings, the experience will be much more improved. Then also, in general, those tools, the legal research tools, are much more improved just by the fact that AI can come and structure the content of a whole document. So if you have a judgment or policy or guidelines that are, let's say, 100 pages long, AI can go through the whole content of that document, understand it for you, and give you much better filtering options. It will give you automated summaries because it's able to pick up everything, and that's much, much faster than we as humans would be able to do. So, because we're also showcasing legal tech tools, and I'm a bit biased, I want to show you what we have been doing with Jibu Docs out of Nairobi. This is our research tool. So what you can see on the screen is our search functionality, and what you can see in the middle, we call them search cards. So this is a search over case law. Currently, this database is mostly with Kenyan cases because we are changing versions, but we also have a huge library of Ugandan case law. And what you can see here, it has already pre-generated a summary of all the important information you would want from a case, even without opening the document. So on the right side, you have the long version where you can skim over. It will give you the facts, which statutes are cited, who are the judges, what are the legal principles, issues, the parties, what did they argue, even without opening the document and going through it yourself. So it's making research much more efficient, and that based on a database that has around 800,000 public domain legal data documents. So we really try to bring research with a localized context so that when you do your search, you don't have to go to different tools or even look in physical files. You can just use our tool to actually get what you are looking for, but that much faster. And this is powered by AI in different ways. Then the next big pillar that I wanted to talk about is the document management, drafting, and review. And I think a document management system is like a key pillar in every organization that works with documents, so let it be government, an NGO, or a law firm. But using AI just gives it the next level, so really entering a new era in terms of document management, because AI now gives you much more capabilities than just storing information and retrieving information. It gives you all those possibilities that we are actually looking for on a day-to-day basis. So of course, everyone is talking about document drafting and generation. There are a lot of great tools out there. Everyone is talking about Harvey, Legora, like all the big players, they're offering drafting tools. Unfortunately, most of those tools have not been yet adopted to the African context. And I think that's also something that we as a local market have to push for and find our own ways and solutions to enable the lawyers in the region to also have those capabilities. And next thing everyone is talking about, contract review, analysis, and comparison. It's something that the AI can do very, very well because it's not even generating something new, it's just comparing existing content within documents, which is, with the current AI capabilities, a very, very good task for the AI to do because it's very reliable. Also, same in the document management system, it has enhanced search capabilities because it can already classify documents on its own without human interaction or tagging of the document. The AI will already understand which type of document am I looking at and how to classify it and what is the content of the document. So when you do your search, all of that will be much more improved than in a standard document management system. And when you want to take the next step, I think there's a lot of heat and hype around that right now, but once the situation has more stabilized, like usually how the curve goes, about IT trends, we are talking about AI agents, so that AI can actually go and do the task itself without me as a human having to give it instructions or work with it closer. It will just go and do the task by itself. So I think fields that are very likely to come up with this soon is more like conflict checks, risk management, and contract handling. Also in terms of later extended like services like billing, so that you don't have to do it yourself anymore. All of that in integrated workflows, but the AI agent is doing it for you. I think we are not fully there yet. And especially on the ground, when you see what is happening in terms of usage in local firms, but even in Germany, where I come from, we are not yet there, but we will get there, and I think it will be good. But for now, let's deal with what we have and be realistic in terms of expectations. So what I also wanted to show you in terms of document management, knowledge management, what we offer in Jibu Docs, is that we take any type of document. So you can see here a judgment of the Tax of Appeals Tribunal, and we extract all the information, we give you a table of content, and we extract important entities or important information from each document that you can click on, and it will direct you within the document where those things can be found. It will suggest to you important facts about the document for you to look at, so that when you do the research within the document, you also don't have to spend too much time looking at it, because often when you do research, you read a whole judgment or a whole document, and then after you find out this was actually not even relevant for what I was looking for. So I think it's very helpful also to bring down research time and get efficiency up. Also, we have created a 10th lining software. So in Kenya, at the Court of Appeal, you have to 10th line the documents. I think it's the same case in Uganda, if I'm not mistaken. Yes? Okay. So we have come up with a software using the same technology that we use for our research and document management tool to extract or count every line and then give you those 10th lines. It's a nice tool to have, because doing that manually is a very tedious work that takes a lot of time but doesn't give you a lot of output. So we have come up with a solution for that. Also, we offer automated case summaries. So we have collaboration with PwC in Kenya. They send out tax appeal tribunals decisions every month, and the content is purely generated by our software, and that's what they are sending to their clients. So instead of having associates reading all those cases and going through the document, you can just have an AI do the summary for you, and you can spend time working on or doing actual work for your client. So I think also this is a tool that is really helpful in the day-to-day work. Also, what I had mentioned in the beginning, where we are getting to is case prediction, also in terms of strategy to advise your clients. So on the one hand, you can predict outcomes and you can identify trends in terms of court data. And the most important part is the data. So I feel still in this region, the biggest problem is that we don't have enough data in a digitized way that is accessible to do such or to implement such use cases. And I think this is another try to nudge the responsible people to make that data accessible to really get better advice for the clients. But it will even be helpful on the government side, on the court side. It's just very helpful to actually work with data in terms of being more secure on what to do in the future. We have done an analysis. This is just an example analysis for Kenya. So you can see the heat maps in terms of where are the most disputed court cases in the country. We have not done it for Uganda yet, but it's something we would be happy to look into. So if someone wants to partner with us to do such an analysis, I'm happy to talk about that. And the next point, we are running a bit late, so I'm trying to keep it short, is the client intake and relationship management. So there are quite a number of tools that can help you do that. So especially having more like a chatbot interaction for the client intake and like filling in all the data, having those correspondent workflows, even in a more efficient way using AI to fill out fields and just keeping you keep your time for other things away from the routine tasks. Same for the data management, especially now again for the conflict checking and the client engagement. What I would say that on a personal level, I think this is something that is good for the very routine tasks. I would still stay a bit away from the fact that to leave AI the full communication with your client, because at the end of the day, we are human beings and we want human interaction. So it's something that can help you, but I think this is the last place as a lawyer where we want to fully leave AI the room to do that communication, because you still want your client to feel like you're taking the time to interact with them, but use it in the back office tasks that the client cannot see, but just for you to be more efficient, but don't take away that human interaction factor. Back office tasks, billing and time management. I think even yesterday from Max on the panel, they were mentioning that they're using a time tracking software that can now later help for the billing process. I know there is a South African software called Briefco on the African market. They are really trying to push into that sector. It's interesting, have a look at it later when you have time. I think this is definitely something that is really helpful and not a necessary day-to-day task that you should deal with yourself anymore. Just, of course, you will always check the quality of the output, but the main part of the work can be done by technology. And of course, this is a legal conference, and most of the time people will bring up risks in terms of the usage of AI. I've heard this yesterday, I've heard it today, that there are a lot of concerns, and those concerns are valid. Even the professor was mentioning the hallucinations before. You are still responsible to verify the output of the software. And it also highly depends on the type of software that you are using. So in terms of JIBU Docs, our approach is that we only extract information from the specific document that you're working with. So the likelihood for it to hallucinate compared to ChatGPT that has been trained on a wide context of the whole web at the time where the model was trained is very different. So it really depends on the tool that you are using, but in any case, please always check before you send something out that you have generated, even with like the newest standard models, especially for the local East African context or African context, it's highly likely to hallucinate. But if you give your junior work, you will also check if it's correct. So I think that's just a process that you have to have in mind, that you as a human are the last person to have a look at it to verify, and then you send it out. Then data security and confidentiality, I still know that a lot of people are actually using ChatGPT or OpenAI and put their client-sensitive data. Please don't do it. Take your time to delete and anonymize those fields. It's not necessary to do that, or use an enclosed tool like GBODocs where the data cannot go out to train a model, to really keep the data safe. It doesn't take a lot of time, but it's an important part of our profession, and I think we should keep those standards. In terms of ethical implications, I think this is a highly discussed topic. The topic is even, I think, more discussed than the real usage, or than the actual usage that is happening of tools. There are a lot of valid points, but again, I think it depends on the tool that you are using and how you are using it. So if you, for yourself, are sure that you are the last person to control what is being sent out, you are limiting those concerns, or like you're limiting the problems that can arise with using such tools. And of course, you always have to check that you are compliant with potential regulations. I know in the region there are a lot of discussions that there needs to be more AI regulation. So far, without that regulation, there are still other regulations that you need to check or ensure that you're compliant with. But I think also this is a task that we lawyers like doing, so that's, in a legal conference, this is not the biggest problem to talk about. And this has been a very enlightening conference so far. What I want to do, because I think it has not been done so far, I want to give like concrete steps on how to implement AI tools. So we have figured out 7 exact steps that you need to do before you implement an AI tool. To be very honest, those are the same 7 steps for any type of technology tool that you want to apply within an organization, because we are humans and we are interacting with technology, and AI is just another tool, another tech tool that we can implement into our work stream. But I still wanted to bring those points because I think it's important now when you go back on Monday and you sit in your office and you think, okay, now I actually really want to get down to business with those AI tools. What do I actually have to do? So step number 1, and this is very important for me, find your problem first. Don't look at the AI tools and think, I want to implement an AI tool. Figure out what is your problem and then look for a solution. Don't look for the solution and then look for the problem after. I think this is the biggest point, especially when it comes to human interaction with technology. Do a proper needs analysis, look at your processes, look at your budget, look which ROI do I actually want to achieve with the specific solution to the problem that I'm solving for. And also think about your general strategy in your firm or in your NGO or in the government, like what is our short, mid, and long-term strategy that we want to achieve, and then think about the problem and think about how that solution will actually change what you are doing on a day-to-day basis on like a 1 year, 3 year, 5, 10 years roadmap down the line, and what do I have to do to get there. Then get your data infrastructure ready. So I know, at least from Kenya, but even in Germany, very paper heavy, and I'm sure it's the same in Uganda. If you have a lot of data on paper, scan it and then use technology that can extract the data from those scanned PDFs or scanned documents, because like every tech tool or AI tool will only be as good as the data that you give it. So if you want to have a very personalized experience with that tool, also bring your own data to improve the usage. And then you look at the existing solutions and compare what makes sense to you. I'm speeding up. And compare and look and see for yourself what makes sense for you. Okay, now the slides are not moving anymore. Okay, then always do a trial. Start with a small pilot. Really try if the tool makes sense for you. Don't just implement something that you and your team has not tried, and then after you figure out, actually, we are not using it, it doesn't make sense for us. And really try to incorporate everyone in the team, do trainings, bring up good policies so that everyone is guided and they actually know why they're using those tools, so that you actually have a good change within the organization mid and long term. And then also measure if that tool brought you or is bringing you those KPIs that you had set in the beginning when you were looking at the problem, if it's really giving you that change that you wanted. And then you repeat and improve. So implementing tech tools is like a never-ending circle. I'm sorry to give that message, it won't change. So even in a year when you come back, you still have to do the same over and over again, because we are evolving every day. I think this is a good thing, but it also doesn't give us a lot of rest time. So in general, start small, do your trial, do your pilot with those people that are really excited about tech, and then you roll out later for the whole team. Tech is here to support us. It's not here to replace us, so don't forget that we always have a human element when we talk about tech, because the tech is only as good as the usage with all the users. So think a lot about the change management part, not only about the pure tech part, and then also look for localized solutions in terms of data and also in terms of costs, so that you will have something that will actually fit to what you're trying to achieve. So I think my conclusion, not everything needs to be AI. There are a lot of other tools that are tech-based that still also will fit the problem that you are solving, but we have enormous potential as humanity, and please make use of that potential. So be part of that positive change and use it in a way how you would want it to be used, so that we can all live together in a good way and have a productive legal system, which I think is a very important pillar for society. All right, so I know I'm very sure I'm all over my time, but I hope I have already gotten you a bit excited with me about tech, because I am very excited. If you have any questions, please come and talk to me. And this was my time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Maria, for that very informative presentation. I believe some of us have been intrigued about the use of Jibu Docs. So those who are here, reach out to her and find out more, because this was created in our backyard here in Kenya. So I'm sure they put a lot of consideration on us as Uganda. As you know already, she says there's a lot of cases from Uganda, so let's ensure that we support Jibu Docs as well. Well, at this point, we are going to have 3 sessions that are going to be running concurrently, like yesterday. We're going for our breakout sessions. We have 3, as I've said already. The future for the lawyer tomorrow, a case of lawyers and LexChat, legal AI tools, transforming legal practice and justice delivery today. No, unfortunately. Let me take that. We have 3 rooms that are going to be created at this point. One will be in here in the main room, the other will be in the Royal Palms, like yesterday, and the other in Acacia Hall, which is just below us on the first floor. So the one that will be here is AI applications in the AI applications, tech disruptions in the different professions and the associated ethical considerations. The panelists for this will be Dr. Rose Nakasi, Head Makerere University Artificial Intelligence Lab, Ms. Langoya Jen Okot, Head ICSA, and Timothy Byekwaso, ICT Association of Uganda. The moderator for this panel is Hilda Kamgisha, Manager Tax and Legal Business Solutions, PwC. The other breakout room on Royal Palms will be talking about the tech-enabled lawyering, pioneering the future of legal practice and the rule of law. The panelists are Mr. Francis Jimara, Head ALP East Africa, Ms. Dorothy Mukasa, Executive Director, Unwanted Witness, Uganda, Mr. Wanyama Edrin, CIPESA, Mr. Tony Galandi as well. So that one will be in the Royal Palms, and everyone interested in learning more about that. Also, our online audience, kindly find what the third one will be leverage. The third panel will be talking about leveraging technology to optimize processes and improve customer experience. So it will be moderated by Ms. Among Arenda, ED Credit Reference Bureau. And the panel, we have Arthur Kwesiga from URSB, Rose Chisembo from NIRA, Dennis Kakonge from MTN, and Rachel Nsenge from NSSF. So for the online audience, we have named these. If you're interested in the first presentation of AI, please go to the room which has been dubbed Royal Palms. And then if you're interested in the tech-enabled lawyering, please go to the room which has been dubbed Speak. And then the other one is the one that has been dubbed Acacia. So at this point, I'm going to invite Timothy Byekwaso to come and give us a brief. So I'll ask us to move to our respective halls, please. Thank you.